Welcome back, everyone. What an amazing day we had. And I am here with our last speaker today, Kim Sorrelle. Kim is the director of a humanitarian organization, popular speaker, and the author of 2 books. Her first book, Cry Until You Laugh, is about her and her husband's battle with cancer, being diagnosed just 4 months apart. Her second book, Love Is, chronicles her year-long quest to figure out the true meaning of love, a sometimes funny, sometimes scary, always enlightening journey that led to life-changing discoveries found mostly on the streets of Haiti. And today she's going to walk us through the 4-letter word that will rock your world. Welcome, Kim. Thank you so much for being today with me.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this very much.
I am honored to have you here, and I'm really looking forward to know what that word is.
Well, great. So we'll dive right in then.
I think the connection is freezing, unfortunately. Yes, you are back. You are back. It's just the internet who is playing some tricks, but you are back now.
Right, right. Well, great. Well, I will tell you all about that 4-letter word. So a few years ago, I hit a wall. Have you ever had one of those moments when everything seems to be crashing in around you and your world becomes the size of a telephone booth? Do you remember telephone booths? Well, that was me. So since nervous breakdowns went away, when women stopped wearing heels and pearls to do housework, I decided I would ask around for the name of a good counselor. I called one and I left a voicemail. I got a voicemail back. She was busy, but try this other person, this somebody Bennett. So I called and left a voicemail, and a few hours later, my phone rang. She said, Kim? I said, yes. She said, this is Denise Bennett. Why do you want to see me? I'm thinking, why do I want to see you? Nothing like getting right to the point. I said, well, okay, where to start? A few years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. She said, oh, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. But 4 months later, my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. She said, oh dear. I said, yes. And then he died 6 weeks later. She said, I'm so sorry. So yeah, he was a wonderful man. And from what I understand, heaven is a wonderful place. She said, but it still has to be hard. And I said, yes, but then I recently lost my dad. She said, oh dear. I said, yeah, he was a great guy. He was such a wonderful father. He was so good to my kids. And she said, oh, he does sound like a great man. And I said, yeah, he was. But then I recently broke up with someone who really messed with my head. She said, oh no. I said, yeah, I think he's a sociopath, like a textbook case. And she said, oh dear. I said, yeah, so I thought it would be good to talk to somebody. I haven't done such a great job of dating since losing my husband. And I just want to make sure that I'm not going to end up as the heroine of a Lifetime movie. And she said, it probably would be good to talk to somebody. And I said, yeah, that's what I thought. She said, but I'm a little confused. I'm your son's landscaper. My son was in the middle of building a house and a little overwhelmed. So I told him to have his landscaper give me a call and I could take that off his plate. So Denise Bennett, master gardener, was on the phone, not whoever Bennett counselor. I said, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. And she said, no, don't be. I'll never tell a soul. And I said, I just laughed and I said, you know what? You can tell whoever you want because I will be telling this story. So Denise didn't even know me, or maybe now she knows me a little too well, but she wanted to protect me. She wanted to protect me from embarrassment. That's what love does. Love always protects. So losing my love made me question love, the real meaning of love, what it really is. So I decided that with no manual on love and no love for dummies, that I would dedicate a full year to discover the true meaning of love. I took a 2,000-year-old poem that you hear at a lot of weddings. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, does not boast, etc. Planned on taking one of the 14 ises and isn'ts of love a month and figure out love's true meaning. But because there were 14, math came into play, so it took me a bit longer than a year. So today I want to tell you about two of those. Kind, love is kind. You know kind, I know kind. Everyone's kind. We do kind things, we say kind things, we show kindness. But love is kind? I worked on that one for an entire month and was about to throw in the towel until I met Christopher. He was 3 weeks old, and I found him at this wonderful place, Sisters of Charity, Home for Sick Children. It's in the middle of a neighborhood that has just been devastated by years of poverty and the ravages of the earthquake. So as time went by, I noticed that Christopher had an IV in his arm that was sort of hidden by a sleeper. And he had two nearly invisible prongs in his tiny little nostrils, allowing oxygen to feed his lungs. And he laid there, he was so peaceful and so beautiful. It was like he was melting into the mattress. I reached down to hold his hand and I noticed a petite woman standing at the end of the crib. There was this sadness that just hovered over her that made the yellow smiley faces on her cotton dress look out of place. And as minutes went by, their story unfolded. Christopher's mother was Natalie's only child. She died shortly after giving birth to Christopher in Natalie's home on a dirt floor. Natalie at first thought that Christopher's inability to keep milk in his stomach was because it wasn't his mom's. But as time went by, he became less and less interested in the bottle and more intent on sleeping. So Natalie held Christopher close on the several-mile walk to the Sisters of Charity. When they got there, they found a nice sleeper for Christopher, and a clean crib with a clean sheet welcomed him, and a clean spot on the floor welcomed his grandma. As I was holding Christopher's hand, I could see that Natalie was afraid to do the same with all the intimidating tubes and needles. But as time went by, she reached down and held his hand too. And we bonded. The bond that just comes so naturally between a woman and woman, a mom to mom, a grandma to grandma. Christopher had an issue that they couldn't quite figure out. With no more sophisticated equipment than a stethoscope, the best guess was that he had an abdominal obstruction. That's something that in the United States would easily be handled and he would be just fine. But we were in Haiti, where doctors are scarce and hospitals scarcer. We knew that Christopher needed to have surgery to survive, to live. But at one moment during the day, Christopher stopped breathing, and so did we. In a panic, we noticed that there was a kink in the oxygen tube, and as soon as we straightened it out, we all breathed again. So it was obvious that Christopher needed oxygen to live, and Christopher needed surgery to live. So Christopher needed a portable oxygen tank so that he could get to the hospital. So I called everyone I could think of in Port-au-Prince. Most people didn't even know where to go for one. Some people went to look for one, but no one could find one. In a city with 2 million people, no one could find a portable oxygen tank. The hospital wasn't far, but with infrastructure for 40,000 people in the capital of Haiti, it took a while to get anywhere. This poor grandma had to decide what to do, and she knew surgery was really the only choice. So a van pulled up to the closest door, And when it was in place and ready, one of the sisters grabbed Christopher's IV bag, another scooped him up in her arms, and in a blur of habits, the sisters and Christopher disappeared. I turned back to the crib and Natalie was standing there. And I said, Natalie, go, go, go. And then I followed her tears and her fingers down, pointing to her feet. And she had no shoes. And she knew she would not be allowed in the hospital without any shoes. So I kicked off my sandals and I put them in one hand. I grabbed her by the arm and I ran to the door, and she hopped in the van just as it was pulling away. I gave her my sandals. Anyone would. Of course I did. I would give up wearing shoes the rest of my life if it meant Natalie could hold Christopher. I showed kind love, and then I truly understood it. Love that is kind is no expectation love. You do kind things, are kind, show kindness, because that is what love does. How many times have you heard somebody say, man, they didn't even say thank you? Or I went to their daughter's wedding, where are they at mine? Well, as soon as you do something and expect something, anything in return, that's no longer love. Love is kind, period. Then I realized I'll never see my sandals again. I'll never see Natalie again. And that's what kind love is, giving, knowing I'm not going to get anything from it. But I also realized that what Natalie gave me that day was such an incredible gift, to share her grandson with me, to let me love on that baby, to share that day with her and be there with her, bonding and loving on each other. That gift, she knew she'd never see me again. She knew she was not going to get anything in return, but she showed me kindness that was so much greater than a pair of sandals. Love doesn't keep record of wrongs. I dreaded that one. I thought, oh my word, they say forgive and forget. Forgive, probably, but forget, we don't forget the things that happen to us. Well, when I was working on that one, I had a group of American men ask if I would show them a water project that I was working on out in the countryside in Haiti. So 8 American men, along with 2 of my Haitian friends who went along to translate and help with the project, headed out to the countryside. We got to where we were staying, and it was just a small building with 2 rooms, and each room had 4 twin-size beds. So there were 8 American men, 2 Haitian men, and me. The head of the American men pulled me aside. Kim, can I talk to you? I'm like, sure. So I walked over and he said, did you see the rooms? And I thought, buddy, there's nothing else to see. And then I went, oh, he's asking me because he thinks I'm going to want my own room. So I'm going to say, oh, it's okay, I'll sleep outside. And then he'll say, no, if anyone should sleep inside, it should be you. And then I'll say, well, I don't care if there's other people in my room. And he'll say, oh, good, because there's only so much space. We'd brought along an air mattress and a couple of cots. So we were all set, everything would fit in the rooms. So I said, well, it's okay, I'll sleep outside. And he said, oh, good, because there are men in the group that would feel very uncomfortable with a woman in their room. I thought, what did I just get myself into? That totally backfired. So I looked around to figure out where I was going to sleep, and I saw a piece of plywood, and it was held up by some cement blocks. And I thought, well, if I sleep under that, at least if it rains, I'll be okay. So I blew up the air mattress the first night and went to bed. The air mattress held air for about an hour, and it was so loud. Dogs were barking, horns were honking, and finally around 1 a.m., all the noise died down. Then about 2 a.m., voodoo drums started in the distance. About 4, that stopped, and finally I was able to doze off and get some sleep. But my biggest fear was, in this land of snakes and tarantulas and chupacabras or whatever is lurking in the bushes of Haiti, that something would attack me or crawl or slither my way. And I wonder, does Haiti have the anti-venom to whatever might bite me? Are they able to airlift me to Miami? Am I going to lose a limb? Am I going to lose my life? I was scared to death. So I kind of slept light, sort of with one eye open. But as I was sleeping, the first night, everything was just fine. The night came and went with no incident. So the second night, again, I blew up the air mattress. Again, after an hour, I was sleeping on gravel. And again, the dogs, the horns, the voodoo drums finally sleeping. But I woke up because there was something on my leg. I was so afraid of what it could be. So I slowly lifted my head and I slowly opened my eyes. And it was a chicken. There was a dang chicken on my leg. I didn't know whether to be mad because it woke. Okay.
I believe that she's going to be back soon. She is back. She is back. We heard you up to the moment that you had something on your leg.
Yes. Yeah. So I was so afraid of what it could be. I slowly lifted my head and I slowly opened my eyes, and it was a chicken. A dang chicken woke me up. I didn't know whether to be mad because it woke me up or happy that it wasn't something much worse. So I shooed away and got a little more sleep. Well, the third night came and went. Everything was just fine. Then the fourth night, again, I'm sleeping on gravel after just an hour. And again, the horns, the dogs, the voodoo drums. Again, finally, I'm sleeping. Again, I'm woken up because there's something on my leg. So again, I slowly lift my head and slowly open my eyes. And again, it's the dang chicken. So again, I didn't know whether to be mad or happy that it wasn't something much worse. That night, we had chicken for dinner. So the fifth night was very peaceful and I got more sleep. And here I am working on Love Keeps No Record of Wrongs. And at first I was pretty mad at these guys. I was bitter. I was angry. I thought, what do these guys think they're doing? I sure hope my sons wouldn't do this. I'm all about equality, but I am a woman, and there was plenty of room for all of us to sleep inside. And I was mad that this was happening, that they treated me this way. But love keeps no record of wrongs. Bitterness only hurts us. And a lot of times, the person that we're angry with doesn't even know we're mad at them. They don't even feel our bitterness. They don't even know that we want revenge or wrath or something to pour down upon them. But love keeps no record of wrongs. So I'm never going to forget that time. I'm never going to forget sleeping outside and the chicken on my leg and what happened during that time. But the tone of the story has changed. The narrative changes. Instead of it being this horrible thing that happened to me and these horrible men that did this to me, it's just something funny that happened. And now I could literally sleep anywhere in the world and be perfectly comfortable. So love doesn't keep record of wrongs. It doesn't hang on to the bitterness. It doesn't keep the anger alive. It changes the narrative. It changes the tone of the story. Because love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It does not easily anger. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices in the truth. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Thank you.
Wow. Allow me to give you a round of applause because we don't have the audience who can do that. Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing that with us. I have so many thoughts, so many ideas pumping into my head. This is an amazing story, what you are sharing with us. And I know that it takes a lot of courage to share your own story, your own struggles, and being vulnerable in front of such a big audience. And I know that if you are doing this, this means that you healed. This means that you managed to really discover what was deep down inside yourself. And I have admiration for that. I don't know if I could do that and how I would do it, how I would overcome all of those obstacles. And I would like to ask you, this would be more personal, because you mentioned that you went to Haiti. How did you overcome all of those struggles and really tapped into that love that you mentioned, that is patient and kind and doesn't keep the score of all the wrongdoings? How did you manage to get to that place? Because I know that there is so much ego out there in the world. It's all about me. If I don't want to do this, because as you mentioned, maybe I will not get something back. How do we do that?
Well, for me, it was a journey for sure. Every month, what I did is I really focused on whatever the word was for that month. So the first month, love is patient, love is patient, love is patient. I just kind of looked for it everywhere. And every month, it took me until the very end of the month to really figure out what it meant. And what's really amazing is there are 14 words, phrases, like I said, 14, and each one is so unique. So each one took me a while to figure it out. And then when I did figure it out, I had to practice it. Like it didn't naturally come. We learn love from the people around us, from our parents, from whoever, and everything we learn about love or everything done in the name of love isn't necessarily love. But if we do love the right way, it is such an incredible feeling. It is so life-changing. And so they all took me practice. I had to really focus on learning and then living them out. So 1 month went into the next. So as I'm working on love that is kind, I'm practicing love that is patient. And then as I'm working on love is not proud, I'm practicing all the ones before. So it was a journey. It was a process of learning.
Wow, I am so inspired and in admiration for you and your journey and everything you managed to implement by yourself, because I know that I personally admire coaches who also walk the talk. Not only about teaching others based on theories, based on books they read, but really going through the journey and implementing what they are learning, because I believe in role models. I really believe that we should be doing what we are teaching, and we are totally doing it. I would like to ask you once again, can you repeat these sentences that you mentioned about love? Because I would like everyone to really remember them and keep them throughout their journey and not forget to implement them.
Sure. So the 14 are this: love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. Love does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it does not easily anger, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices in the truth. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres, because love never fails.
I love that. Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us and for giving us this loving space. This is how I feel right now. I feel totally in an environment where I feel like we can spread more love to others, because it's not about, as you mentioned, about keeping the wrongdoings or not forgiving. It's really feeling that love inside. And I know myself that I am practicing. I cannot claim that I'm always in that state, but I really want to be in that place where I don't feel anything else, where I really can say deeply that I am fully in love with myself and those around me, because this is where I believe the happiness lies, in love. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I would just like to ask you before we close today, who are you serving and how can people contact you? Who are you working with?
Well, I am very easy to contact because I am literally the only Kim Sorrelle spelled my way in the entire world. My last name has way too many letters, 2 R's, 2 E's, 2 L's. So it's Sorrelle, Kim Sorrelle. My website is kimsorrelle.com. I'm on social media. The book that I wrote that gives you the answers to real love, Love is available everywhere on the internet and in bookstores. And I enjoy hearing from people. I have on my website, I have a 14-day love challenge. It's free. You can just go on and sign up for it. And if you do, I will send you a free WWLD, What Would Love Do wristband, so that you can remember to act in love and live in love.
Thank you so much, Kim. Everyone can do it, right? You don't have any specifics. So everyone who wants to be in love with life, I would say, can do it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely true.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you for spreading love in this world.
Thank you.